I'm Corbett Wall with DVAuction, here with your feeder flash for Friday, March the 14th, brought to you in part by Toromox by Norbrook. Toromox Injectable offers producers flexible options when targeting external parasites with more dose consistency than a pour-on. For more information, go to norbrook.com. Also, Unionville Livestock Market in north central Missouri and Creston Livestock Market in south central Iowa. Unionville's got a special coming up this week. Be a calf and yearling special sale there on Tuesday, March the 18th. And it's going to start at 10:30 in the morning. They're going to have close to 2,000 head on offer. Got several of their reputation consignments, including 3 loads of those Rockin' R's that always top the market there. And they are backgrounded yearlings there, but they know how to get them where they still feed really, really well. David Guffey's got 190 head of fancy steers and heifers in there, weighing from 6 to 875. But it's going to be a really good sale there at Unionville Livestock Market coming up on Tuesday, March the 18th. Be on DVAuction.com. Up at Creston Livestock Market in Creston, Iowa, they had their big special this past week. They've got a regular sale coming up on Friday the 21st. Their next big special will be Wednesday, April the 2nd. Got a power struggle going on, and I love it when we have a power struggle in the fed cattle market. We've got northern feeders that have some leverage in the trade because they've been selling a lot of cattle negotiated here for the past several months. Of course, your packers haven't been buying a lot of them the last few weeks until on Friday when they got super short and hungry and had to come up with $5 more there to start the trade. But your northern packers have got their their northern feeders have their heels stuck in the ground, and they want to gain some market position back big. Most of your northern feeders are priced at $210 live. We've seen hardly any trade at all take place, just a little bit in Kansas at $2 live, and that's still $2 to $3 higher than last week, but they haven't traded enough really to get anything going. And they got a couple dollars there of basis they're going to put in their pocket. I doubt that they push the packers to any more money, but these northern feeders, they're wanting several dollars more. So I don't see them trading a hoof less than 206, 7, 8, something like that. But I tell you what, they may just stay stuck in there at 210 because they know packers need cattle. They've already exhibited that. We haven't seen any cattle really reported on USDA mandatory price reporting, but there has been cattle sell, and they've been selling dollars and dollars higher, and I think they may have enough to go on to just stay tough and continue to hold out, and they may actually get 210. That would be impressive if they do. I sure hope they do. We know we've got a cattle on feed report coming up here next Friday, and it's going to be bullish. Now, I don't know whether it's going to be bullish compared to what the average of the analyst guess is, because I don't know what that is. But these placements for February are going to be extremely lighter than a year ago. Double digits, somewhere between 10 and 15% lighter. And you say, oh, we never see it in double digits. We're going to see it in double digits this time, because a year ago, February, we had the highest February placements we'd seen in 20 years, and just last month we didn't have hardly anything because the bitter cold had everything shut down for at least the middle 2 weeks there, not a whole lot before or after that. So we're looking forward to a bullish cattle on feed report. We also see that this market is driving through the uncertainty that's been brought about by all the tariff talk. And so our cattle futures couldn't have been much better. They've been really strong through all this uncertainty, and right in the face of the stock market dropping. And a lot of times your CME cattle futures and your stock market kind of run together, but not this past week. Your cattle futures just kept driving on with the stock market down and a lot of uncertainty going on in our publicly traded markets. But did hear that China has said that they are pulling out of our beef market. They don't buy a hell of a lot of beef from us anyway, but they're pulling out of the markets, and the packers that they traded with here said they're not going to be purchasing any more beef from us. That's fine. Let them eat rice or starve. I don't think that they really deserve to be eating our steaks, and no bigger than they are, they probably couldn't eat a whole steak anyway. They'd have to put it in a doggy bag. But tell you what, we've got a lot of bull sales. We are smack dab in the middle of our spring bull sale season. This is our biggest weekend on DVAuction, and this weekend we've got 54 bull sales that we're broadcasting on site, guys. So just get on to DVAuction.com, scroll down through them, find the breed you're looking for, look at the videos, find out what kind of bulls you might like, and get ready to bid on those sales. But that's got just about everybody in our crew working hard. But we're going to have a lot of wind coming up here in the southern plains, especially on Friday. XL Energy, which is the provider to most of your electricity down in Texas and New Mexico, have said that they are planning to cut off electricity to 17,000 customers in rural West Texas and New Mexico there, with the wind expected to be, 40, 50 miles an hour and gusts up to 60 and 70 miles an hour. And they did have to claim some responsibility for the big fire that we had a year ago up in the northeastern Texas panhandle. So they're not wanting to do that again. So they're just going to cut it off to keep the sparks down and hopefully keep the fires down, because those wildfires are so destructive through our ranchers out there. So we just hope and pray that we keep everything, no sparks or anything around that could start a fire. And if you guys see anybody that looks suspicious out there in the country, get a handle on them in a big way there, guys. But got a big sale coming up down in Beaumont, Texas on Saturday. It's the Southeast Texas Independent Cattlemen's Association's 30th annual commercial bull and heifer replacement sale. And it's going to be for cattle that are acclimated to South Texas down there. Chuck Kiker's been helping to put that on for many, many years. Buddy of mine down there. They're going to start at 10 o'clock in the morning. If you want to get a look at some of those cattle, you can come in on Friday evening or before the sale on Saturday morning and take a good look at them. But they'll have the kind of replacements that you need there at the Southeast Texas Independent Cattlemen's Association sale. And it is on DVAuction if you can't make it to Beaumont, Texas there for that sale. Talk about your board on Thursday. April live cattle futures up 65 cents at 202.05. June up 40 cents at 198.27. Your back months were mixed but basically steady, from down 12 to up 15 cents. So about as steady as you can get. March feeder cattle down a quarter at 280.22. April down 75 cents at 279.97. And your back months were down, but not a lot, just down a nickel to down 75 cents on your feeder cattle futures. Your grains were higher. After all this talk about the tariffs are going to kill the grain markets, maybe not. How about May corn up 4.5 cents a bushel at 4.65 1/4. May beans up 10 1/4 cent at 10.10 3/4. Kansas City hard red winter wheat for May was up 14.5 cents a bushel at 5.87 1/2. But the fat cattle trade, we haven't seen any trade really to speak of, direct negotiated cash in your 5-area feeding region. We didn't see anything out of Iowa, Nebraska, or Texas on Thursday. We did see a little bit more trade, and they've traded about 800 head altogether in Kansas at $2 a pound. Live basis there, and like I said earlier, that's $2 to $3 higher, but they pretty much already, maybe not, I don't know, they've almost set the market there at $2, so not sure if the guys holding out can get any more than that. Now in the northern plains, they've already bid 204 up there, and that's been passed by everybody. Normally you get a weak sister that'll come in there and trade, and evidently your packers haven't been able to find any of their weak sisters to take that, or maybe they're one of their partners there that would sell them some cattle negotiated when they've already promised them the cattle on some type of an AMA, just so they could report it and try to set the market. Haven't been able to get that done yet. So 204's been passed. I've heard of 3 loads of good cattle in Colorado, just from a private source that told me they got 205, and that was actually on Wednesday, late on Wednesday. So 205 is out there. We did see a little bit of trade on the Fed Cattle Exchange, and that was up in Montana. I tell you what, they're trading, getting consigners from all around on the Fed Cattle Exchange. That's the competitive bidding console there for online sales of fed cattle all over, and your packers are absolutely participating in that. About the only thing they need more of is they need more consigners of cattle to get in there so they have a little more leverage in the market. But they sold cattle at 203 in Montana, and they were colored cattle, good quality cattle, but that was bid the grid, so that's a base price on the grid. Also, I've heard of some cattle in the eastern corn belt sell at 210. Now, they would have been extremely high quality there, but tell you what, they may get 210 in Nebraska and Iowa, and let's cheer for them here on Friday. Box beef cutout values were a little bit lower, but we've still seen good gains in our dressed beef prices this week. But choice cuts on Thursday afternoon were $319.69. That was down $141. Your selects down 6 cents at $307.47. Your slaughter been pretty aggressive this week, and that goes to show you they've got orders for beef, and they've got to get cattle to make that beef, and they've stepped up the slaughter just a little bit. 483,000 estimated cattle slaughter up through Thursday. That was 16,000 better than this point last week, and 11,000 better than this point a year ago. Your actual slaughter information come back for the week ending March the 1st. Had your average dressed steer carcass weight at 942 pounds. That's another 4 pounds lighter, and that goes to show you how much that bitter cold that we had sucked that weight off of them. But still, those weights on the steer carcasses are 19 pounds bigger than the same report a year ago. Talk about what else is going on. Livestock Risk Services. Of course, Dakota Moss, we talk about him all the time, and all these agents that work with him. They are your LRP specialists, and you guys that complain that these LRP premiums are too high, well, you know, they do have programs to help cover a portion of those premium costs. And if you think they're too high, talk to some of these guys that already have CME hedges on their cattle, and the margin calls that they've been getting here as this futures have been surging here for the last several sessions, and that might cause you to think that the LRPs are a pretty good deal. But if you're interested in them or have questions about them, get a hold of them at livestockriskservices.com. Let's talk about your feeder cattle market, brought to you by Specialty Risk Insurance, working to protect your livelihood. Your real-time index on DVAuction late in the afternoon on Thursday, sitting at 282.73. That was up another 30 cents. We've just been seeing huge gains on our real-time index. And then, of course, the CME Cash Feeder Cattle Index trails in behind. But your latest CME Cash Feeder Cattle Index sitting at 281.25, but it's gonna snub up a little bit closer and be just a pinch higher there whenever we get the results of that come out on Friday mid-morning. But I'm going to be I'm actually down here in the Fort Worth Stockyards, one of my favorite places to hang out. We've got the Felton Angus Ranch sale. It's online only, guys. It's going to be here today on Friday. Got those big rugged athletic bulls that can travel all over, cover lots of cows and cover lots of country there, guys. If you're interested in watching that sale, get on there and bid on some of those bulls. Bid through DVAuction.com. It's going to be at 1 o'clock Mountain or 2 o'clock Central here today, Friday, March the 14th. talk to you about some of your big feeder cattle auctions on Thursday. Winter Livestock and Pratt, they'd sold about 5,500 whenever I pulled their report from the automated report through Cattle Market Central. The federal state market report wasn't out yet, and I don't think they were quite done. And that was at about 6 o'clock in the evening, but sure looked to me like the feeders were firm to $5 higher, and not a real good test, just light numbers on your lighter weights of calves and lighter stockers there. But was your National BeefWire stick-out sale of the day. Winter Livestock and Pratt, look at this automated market report through Cattle Market Central and look at your best tested weights. 286 head of 5-weight steers average 574 with a weighted average price of $355.29. 558 head of 7-weight steers average 757 at $292.28. There were 618 head of 8-weight steers in Pratt. They averaged 846 at $271.59. And 528 head of the 9-weight steers averaged 931 pounds at $261.09. Look at some heifers. How about 316 head of 6-weight heifers averaged 659 at $287.01. 914 head of the 7-weight heifers in Pratt averaged 759 at $263.53. 611 head of 8-weight heifers averaged 869 at $246.33. And 342 head of 9-weight heifers, Winter Livestock in Pratt, Kansas, averaged 938 pounds with a weighted average price of $234.02. The best sale that I saw, the most stick-out sale that I saw in Pratt was on some stocker steers there. 96 head of them weighed 581 pounds at $379, and that is a big-time quote there. How about some other quotes from all around the country? Belle Fourche Livestock Market in Belle Fourche, South Dakota, they sell 78 steers, weighed 576 at $388 in western South Dakota. How about Orland Livestock Commission Yard in Orland, California? They like the lightweight stockers there. 70 head of steer calves weighed 438 at $444. How about Enid Livestock Market in Enid, Oklahoma? I was telling you on the previous visit about the Jerry Evans consignment there. How about the biggest drag of those? There were 377 head of those 6-weight steers in the heavy sixes, but I guarantee you they're going to be turned out somewhere. Weighed 687 and breathed 325. Thought that was awfully good. But the most impressive quote that I saw anywhere on Thursday in your Macrocin, no BS, top quote for the day, come out of Mitchell Livestock Marketing in Mitchell, South Dakota. DVAuction broadcaster there. They sold 67 steers, weighed 916 at $278.85. And that's your feeder flash for Friday.